This is Greg. We're doing a quick blast today to note that Clean Technica is reporting that the first test vehicles from the Austin factory will start arriving next week, with real production starting in 2 months, which places us beginning of September. There's also news from Clean Technica that production in Germany is going to be starting on a very similar schedule to what we're seeing coming right now for the Austin factory. So that's what we're covering briefly today. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We're on the road and I'm making the mistake of showing you the mic versus clipping it on so we can ensure our sound quality doesn't drop off as it has in the past. I first want to note that this is a copyright broadcast. None of the material presented or said here is allowed to be used without permission anywhere else. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. Your support makes every difference for our viability and our ability to provide information of this caliber. We also want to encourage you to like and subscribe if you enjoy the show. So today is stunning, amazing, interesting. What's going on is that we actually got news about a month ago that end of summer is when production would start in definitely in Austin. My reaction to it was, really don't want to report it, and the reason is that there have been a lot of just about to starts for a lot of projects Elon is working on, Cybertruck as well as the Semi, for example. So therefore, when we got this news, I was like, it'd be great if it started that early, but the reality is that, they had talked about October being when production would start there. And so the other thing is that it's one thing for October to be announced as a start, it's another thing for it to actually occur. So so the next question is like, what do we do with this? What impact does it have, etc.? Well, the fact of the matter is that all of the big analysts have to go into the 3-day process right now on that news. And the reason is that you have to come up with a number that you think is going to come out that factory when they start producing. Let's say modestly, that's about 4,000 vehicles a week, 20,000 a month. The thing though is that if this thing starts producing in September timeframe, that's an extra 20,000 vehicles coming from that facility that now adds to revenue and profit numbers that Tesla is generating. So if both Germany and Fremont come on, that's an extra 50,000 vehicles. So and then that would be just for the quarter we're in. We also have to think about the fact that they'll likely ramp up to a more full production schedule for the last quarter of the year, which implies that we're now getting, call it, 25 to 50,000 vehicles a month from 2 facilities, and all those numbers have to be added on to the forecasted profit and revenue numbers for Tesla. So as we roll into the 3-day rule on this news and the execution is as described, this could actually be very, very big for Tesla, and therefore obviously big for the stock. So keep your seatbelts on. This could be huge if it's confirmed, and I expect that they're going to have to add perhaps 10%, maybe 20% to the value of the company with these new lines coming on. So like I said, keep your seatbelts on, because it's my belief that we could generate some very large numbers in the process, and as those numbers are generated, it forces the stock price north from here. The only question mark is that we know that production is going to be coming on. What Elon said is that battery production would actually start at the same time as car production, but it may not be the 4680. The plan is to roll with the form factor of the 2170 likely, and then roll into the 4680 as they were able to get the 4680 running smoothly enough to make the transition to it. The other things that I think are interesting about this plant is that what Elon is doing is every new factory incorporates new technology that's designed to lower cost, obviously increase profit, and the ability to bolt on a front and back of the car with the battery being in between is the newest innovation. And I think this is going to mean faster throughput of vehicles and per vehicle profit higher as we go through this happening. So, wow, is all I've got to say. This is very surprising news. I expected things to slowly start at the end of October, and then we're starting to produce in November and December. But from what is being articulated, we get 4 months, perhaps 3 months of full bore production, 1 month of sort of ramping production. But that's a lot of cars when you add 2 factories. So as this rolls into the analysts and it's found to be factually what's happening, I think we're now in a very, very, very interesting spot for Tesla, because they're now going to be filling the demand pipeline. The only issue I'm seeing here, and I'm surprised there's no discussion, is that Elon talked about the fact that they are affected by the chip shortage, which is why they've slowed the rollout of gigapacks as well as the power walls, and they have to use those to produce cars. So I think the only fly in the ointment here might be what's going on with those chips. And if you open up 2 more factories when there's already a chip shortage, are you now in a position where you're going to have to do the things that other manufacturers are doing, where they're producing and stockpiling cars until they can actually get the production going? Now the question is, what do I think is going to happen post 3-day rule on this whole thing? I believe my answer here is that if we're increasing the productive capacity of the company by 10% starting in September, I just think that this suggests that there has to be between a 5 and 10% increase in the value of the stock to embrace the revenue and profit implications of those 2 locations. Now, if this is the case, wow. This is a nice push for Tesla to go with the other news that's going on, and the fact that Elon has guaranteed 800,000 vehicles this year, and this pushes us up into the million, maybe even 1.5 million vehicles legitimately, I think really changes a lot of the numbers that we see coming out of Tesla. So keep your fingers crossed and your seatbelts on. This, I think, is great news, and I'm looking forward to us being able to reduce or produce more information about this as we go forward. Now, just a reminder, please take time to like and subscribe. We also want to encourage you to join us on Patreon for more information, high quality, ASAP when it comes out, rather than being delayed, so you can be ahead of it on the trading you might do. We also want to finish up with our health tips. Don't forget, prior to lovemaking, no more than a small meal to allow the food to digest without a lot of effort, so that blood flow is available for other parts of the body. We also wanted to encourage you to do what we're doing here, which is a little bit of forest bathing, to get out in nature, bike, whatever it is, as a way to improve overall health from that exposure. At any rate, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Salam. Tschüss, German. Salam. Tschüss, German, over French, Lahit Road, Hebrew, Hoda Hafez, Farsi, Zdrazichet, Russian, Ni Hao Ma, Chinese, Kambawa, Japanese, Hey Do, Swedish, good day, our friends in Australia. And in Jamaica, we say, enough respect, walk good man. Thanks for joining us, and let's get those factories going and those cars produced, because it's going to be a big, big boost. We need to get to $1,000 to $1,200 a share by the end of the year, and this definitely helps us to get there. Have a great day, and bye for now.